Alright, so I chose a passage from Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway from chapter 21. And as you can see, for the different literary devices, I've separated them into colors. So for green, there's characterization; blue, symbolism; red, syntax; orange, simile; and purple is diction. To set the scene for this passage, basically what is happening is the Allied forces are experiencing some struggles in the war, and Henry, who is fighting for the Italian army, he is sent home for a 3-week leave from the war. And Catherine, who is they have fallen in love, Catherine and Henry, she offers to travel with him, and during this, she reveals that she is 3 months pregnant, which is a surprise to Henry, which is something he had not known before. So I'll go ahead and read the passage. We were quiet a while and did not talk. Catherine was sitting on the bed, and I was looking at her, but we did not touch each other. We were apart as when someone comes into a room and people are self-conscious. She put out her hand and took mine. You aren't angry, are you, darling? No. And you don't feel trapped? Maybe a little, but not by you. I didn't mean by me. You mustn't be stupid. I meant trapped at all. You always feel trapped biologically. She went away a long time without stirring or removing her hand. Always isn't a pretty word. I'm sorry. It's all right, but you see, I've never had a baby, and I've never even loved anyone. And I've tried to be the way you wanted, and then you talk about always. I could cut off my tongue, I offered. Oh, darling, she came back from wherever she had been. You mustn't mind me. We were both together again, and the self-consciousness was gone. We really are the same one, and we mustn't misunderstand on purpose. We won't, but people do. They love each other, and they misunderstand on purpose, and they fight, and then suddenly they aren't the same one. We won't fight. We mustn't. Because there's only us two, and in the world, that's all the rest of them. There's all the rest of them. If anything comes between us, we're gone, and then they have us. They won't get us, I said, because you're too brave. Nothing ever happens to the brave. They die, of course, but only once. I don't know. Who said that? The coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave but one. Of course. Who said it? I don't know. So going into the literary devices that Ernest Hemingway uses in this passage to reveal his purpose and reveal what is happening in the story, first I will start with diction, which is in the purple. So you can see here, Hemingway, he uses words such as apart, self-conscious, angry, and trapped. Now this kind of separating divisive diction shows that the experiences of Henry and Catherine as they go throughout this war, as they go throughout their relationship, they are beginning to feel a little bit of separation. They are beginning to feel a little bit of differences in how they think and how they feel about what's happening, and that is shown by this divisive diction such as trapped, angry, self-conscious, and apart. Now the word self-conscious is also important in terms of language and language choice, because it shows that during this little confrontation here, in their conversation, they are feeling a little distant. They're not feeling very present in the moment, and this can be shown by the diction such as self-conscious that is chosen by Hemingway. Moving into symbolism, which is blue. I did not highlight anything blue, but what would be blue is brave. That is the symbol. And brave, essentially, they say it throughout this conversation that they keep calling each other brave, and it's almost like they're trying to reassure each other that they're going to be okay in this situation. But essentially, brave and braveness in this situation represents the standard of the world and what Catherine and Henry believe that they should be. And they keep saying this word because they're trying to reassure themselves that, yes, we are brave. We do have this, and we are in control. But ultimately, this symbolism of being brave and being able to do anything despite any obstacles, this is ultimately impossible because it's just they're human and they're imperfect. So that is the symbolism that Hemingway uses to further explain to his audience the interaction that is happening between Catherine and Henry. Next, red syntax. So you can see here in this red, Catherine and Henry are conversing back and forth, and they say, "They die, of course, but only once. I don't know. Who said that? The coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave but one. Of course. Who said it? I don't know." You can see they have these short spurts of sentences and these very trite interactions, and this allows Hemingway to represent to the audience the scattered thoughts and almost the panic that is setting in for Catherine and Henry as they realize that, yes, Catherine is pregnant and Henry has to go back to war, and these short spurts of really, I don't know what's going on, what's happening, asking questions. This shows the scattered thoughts and the panic that is setting in for Catherine and Henry. Furthermore, this syntax can be seen right here where it says, "I don't know. It's hard to see inside the head of the brave. Yes, that's how they keep that way. You're an authority. You're right, darling. That was deserved. You're brave." "No," she said, "but I would like to be." So once again, they have these short, quick sentences, which displays the almost inability to put together a coherent sentence, and they are just trying to reassure each other that everything's okay, but really they all know in their conscious that they are panicked and that this could possibly be a dangerous situation for their relationship. So moving on to orange, which is simile. Hemingway also employs the use of simile right here. Henry says, "I'm not," I said. "I know where I stand. I've been out long enough to know. I'm like a ball player that bats 230 and knows he's no better." Now, for baseball, 230 is not very good, and Henry, he's almost denouncing himself here. He feels that he is not worthy of this situation. He's not worthy to lead Catherine, and he feels that once he goes back to war, that this relationship, he doesn't really know what's going to happen. This simile also reveals the true character of Henry, and that he doesn't have an extreme amount of confidence in himself, just simply because of the circumstances and his lack of experience. Next, moving on to possibly the most important literary device employed by Ernest Hemingway in this passage, characterization. So throughout the conversation, Hemingway points out certain aspects of the character of Catherine and Henry that is very important to understanding the overall message that is trying to be conveyed by Hemingway. So first, you can see here it says, "She went a long way without stirring or removing her hand." Hemingway is able to show that Catherine, through the sentence, that Catherine is removed, she's distant, and she's not very present in the moment. Next, Catherine moves on. She says, "It's all right, but you see, I've never had a baby, and I've never even loved anyone. And I've tried to be the way you wanted, and then you talk about always." Once again, Hemingway is characterizing Catherine as uncertain, inexperienced, and she's experiencing a lot of new things, and she is not sure how to deal with them. Catherine moves on. She says, "We really are the same one, and we mustn't misunderstand on purpose." Through the use of this sentence, Hemingway is able to characterize Henry and Catherine as one mind, and that they, right now, as of now, they are thinking on the same page. They are one, and their thoughts are dictated by what the other thinks and how the other will react to that certain decision. Now, Catherine moves on. She says, Henry moves on. He says, "They won't get us, because you're too brave. Nothing ever happens to the brave." Now, Henry is characterizing through this passage, or through this part, Hemingway is able to show that Henry is almost he's having wishful thoughts. He's saying, "Catherine, you're brave. You have this." But essentially, the reader can tell that they are both panicked. They are both unsure of what is happening as this war goes on with the impending pregnancy and child coming. And to wrap up this passage, Hemingway also says, "I guess we're both conceited, but you are brave." So Hemingway once again characterizes Henry and Catherine as together, and their thoughts are very much so influenced by each other. And by calling them each character brave, Hemingway is able to create a facade, like a surface layer of what they should be, but ultimately it is evident that Catherine and Henry are not handling the situation terribly well. And in this passage, that is how Hemingway uses the following literary devices to convey his purpose and further the plot of the story.